Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and we are continuing our weekly series of the state of our account series, and really, which we're just going to talk about our account, what our current farming stuff is, give you guys some insights on what we think is going to happen, what we kind of did this last week, just so that way, you guys can maybe apply some of this stuff or just say, hey, that's total crap, and I'm not going to listen to any of that. That's also an option here. But, we're just trying to make sure that wherever we're at, we're clearly stating it, and so it might give you guys some ideas of what we're doing. So, what happened last week? We'll kind of get into it later, but Squad Arena became basically obsolete, at least for me. Huge time sink. I'm not really hurting on those uh, currencies for that at all. So, I've basically been doing my one per day for the dailies and been calling it good. And I haven't really dropped below 50. So I pretty much go from 50 to 41 every single day. It's kind of funny. Um, so if crystals was what you were going for, I think a lot of people are kind of the same way. If you are in the spot where you still need it, like you're a newer player and you still need a lot of those squad arena characters, it seems like a decent thing to do. But the rate of like the fall off from number 1 to number 50 or 100 or whatever, it's a lot less than when it is with crystals, right? Like with crystals, it's 500 versus like 50 or something like that. With the currency, right? Like if you're in the top 50, you're still get like 600 plus currency. So definitely see a lot less of a need for squad arena. So probably not going to talk too much about it. I've just left in my team that's been in there. Hopefully I can get some testing done with some of my squad mates, or squad arena shard mates, I guess, if you will. But yeah, that's about all that we'll probably be covering for Squad Arena. We still running the same fleet arena with the Executor. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, but I know there was that screenshot that said, hey, like there's a certain capital ship coming out. It may or may not be true, who knows. But right now, this thing is the meta. This is the current meta lineup, and it's pretty nasty. All right, guys, this is going to be a big week. GAC is going to be starting this week. In fact, by the time this video goes live, sign up should be coming around the corner kind of very quickly. So get your last upgrades in, get your mods in. Understand, though, that this first week, it's going to be matched up just like the past weeks or just like the past seasons. Based on your, whatever league you're in, however many characters it takes to put on defense, multiply that by 2. That's the GP that it's going to really drag from. And that's how you're going to get your matchups, right? So this first week, you're not going to notice any matchups. Now, this second week after that, that's probably where we're going to start to see some really weird matchups. And then every week after that, it should start to get a little bit more and more accurate as far as their matchmaking criteria goes. Just for me, I was in Cover 1 again because my GP, and I was given a skill rating of 3,810. Now, I've seen a few different numbers floating around there. I think they've just kind of like randomly group you up. I don't know if there's been any sort of, I know there was a lot of people like kind of trying to group up and trying to figure out what those numbers might mean. To me, I just think they're random, but we'll see. We'll see how it all comes down. I think right now people have been like messaging me on Discord saying that I'm like top 30 or something like that. And I was like, oh great. We'll see how long that lasts. And then finally, I'm in Alpha Squad. Hasn't changed, but we're finishing up our last TB or Dark Side TB. Should still get 900 crystals from it. But I want to take this time to say that I'm pretty sure Alpha Squad is going to be folding after this. It's a sad day, man. Anytime a guild folds, any guild folds. But it was an absolute pleasure playing with Alpha Squad. They were super elite. And I truly mean that. Like these guys were really good. When I joined them, like I was just super impressed with them all. Great leadership, great officers. So it was a pleasure being with Alpha Squad, but unfortunately, just some key retirements and guild leader retiring as well. Just usually leads to the collapse of a guild, and yeah, sucks, but that's where we're at. So We'll see where we go after that. So let's go ahead and talk about our roster and kind of what we did this week. If we go into here. Okay, so I have had a lot of the rebel fighters kind of highlighted for a long time. I decided to finally pull the trigger on them, so I added Pow, Zeta, and I got him to R3, and then Hoth Rebel Scout, I got him to R3 as well. And the big reason why is they were always good. This team was always really, really good. And I think the ideal team is gonna be the same as it was before. It used to be Mon Mothma led with Cara Dune, Pow, Hoth Rebel Scout, Biston, and I think that was all four or all five of them. I might be missing one now. I think I didn't count Mon Mothma, but yeah, so it was those guys, and I think now you're gonna drop out Bisson, and the reason why is Kara can be so fast. I think that's the big reason. Everyone wants to keep Bisson in there because of Frenzy, which I agree is pretty nice, but Kara can be so fast, and she can reduce turn meter, and if they're Rebel or if they're Empire, she can stun them. It's just great. So I think that's like the new team with Kyle Katarn moving in there. And I guess we'll get into this now. Guys, the four that they gave us, the four marquees, and I've got them all the 4 stars right now because I did go with the 4-star pack, but they're good. They're really good. People are doing some pretty crazy stuff with them right now, and that's going even before some of these guys, like they're specifically supposed to be good in, GAC with their Omicrons and stuff like that. You can see I added both the Mara Jades, Zetas. With her, it's like if your Empire start, you're not letting anyone break into that turn meter train unless they are gaining passive turn meter through them as well. It's just not happening. Like it's really impressive. I mean, I've seen some stuff with Mara Jade and Darth Talon and like beating Galactic Legends because of the turn meter gains. Like they're just not gonna let you take a turn. Again, though, you have to kind of take the turn. You have to kind of get them going, which is really hard to do with Galactic Legends, as you guys know. But I've seen some really, really convincing stuff that like, especially once they get higher relic and stuff like that they're going to be really, really big assets into this game. So I put the Zetas on them both wherever I could. And yeah, I truly believe like even at 3-star gear 11 viability is possible with all 4 of them. Truthfully, I've seen Dash Rendar do some really cool stuff, especially underneath Bam lead. Kakatarn obviously underneath Mothma lead. Yeah, they're just really, really good. So that's my advice to you guys, especially before GAC. Put some mods on them. If you can get them up to gear 11, get them up there because they will provide to be useful. Like they've got really good uniques. If they're not providing damage, they're providing something else. So that's kind of my take on them right now. I think I got Sith Assassin from like gear, I don't know, 7 or 8 to what are we at, 11 now? Yeah, so almost 12. Again, she's just kind of cool. She's kind of a cool plug and play. She's got a turn meter gain, especially good for Sith because they don't have too many turn meter gains other than like EP's lead. And so yeah, she's a nice to have. And then her ship has some really small uses, but they can be really important as well. So I decided like, hey, I'm gonna kind of gear her up on the side. But as you can see, I'm really starting to run out of gear. That's the bottom line is really, and most of it's Kairos, so the shock prod variant. So that's kind of what we did. We're still farming Fennec Sean, 3 refreshes a day. If you can, guys, I know not everyone's going to be able to do 3 refreshes a day for the 75 crystals, but even if you do the 25 crystal refresh, it like shortens that farm time by like a month or 2. I had it worked out at one point, and I should probably rework it out just that way I can show you guys like what the power of farming even just a 25 crystal refresh, especially now that like crystals are going to really be tied to GAC and A lot of people are actually going to be getting more crystals than they used to. It's just a smart thing to do, like, so that way you don't fall behind on farming. So that's what I would do if I were you guys. Again, just at 25. I personally do the 50 just so that way I'm staying extra ahead, but it's probably not necessary. Um, and then this last week also too, we got the Sidious and Chief Chirpa Omicrons. I'll kind of go over what my thought process is on them, although I did a video kind of ranking them. Listen, this one sounds really, really good. If I'm being honest, underneath an EP lead, if he gets a turn, if Darth Sidious gets a turn and he has a decent amount of potency on him, he is not going to stop. Like, he really will not stop until about 2 or 3 people are dead on their team. And then, or at least that's kind of how I read this and how I've kind of like thought about this. Like, underneath the EP lead team, and him landing like just even half of his debuffs, he will not stop, and he's going to just continuously land, like, take turn after turn after turn, and yeah, he'll be able to like AoE an entire team down to like 2 or 3 guys, and then he'll start to slow down on the turn meter because he's not inflicting as many debuffs because, well, they're all dead. So he can't gain the same amount of turn meter that he once had. So he seems like he's going to be actually pretty fun if you can get him going. Chief Chirpa, this one seems really cool. Honestly, like, it looks, I don't know how to say this. Like, it's a good lead now. Like, it's what I kind of expect out of a leadership now that the game has kind of, we've seen this power level creep, you know, that has come into the game. These are like normal things that like come with leaderships now, right? Like 30 speed is kind of like a given, or at least some added speed. And then now they're basically just like guaranteed an assist, and their basics are dealing 40% more damage. While the 40% more damage is nice, I said this in the video too, I would really love to have seen that be like just an overarching damage buff, right? Even if they're using their specials or whatever. Because the fact of the matter is they really don't hit very hard. So a 40% increase on Paplu's special isn't going to make him like just crazy big, like a big hitter. It's really just gonna more or less like try to help bring up some of the damage that is lacking. But the turn meter gains is great. Everyone knows that if they get going, they kind of don't stop for a while, and they don't let you really like interject in there. So I think on offense it can kill some things, especially if you have like a ton of gear or relics on your Ewoks. And then on the flip side of things too, I will say, as long as you mod them correctly, I bet some people will still, you know, they'll make a mistake and they won't bring in the right team, and then that's going to cost them. Everyone else though we've kind of talked about already. I am at 145 right now on Conquest for Boba Fett, Scion of Django. I found out basically like, hey, if I just get red crate from here on out, like I'd be like 5 shards over, I think, or something like that. So I'm done buying them. So I've just been buying some of the other like gears or signal data sometimes, just depending upon what I'm short on. Just so that way I kind of keep that cap down from the 3,500 conquest shards. As far as what we are expecting next week, guys, really, this is the week for Star Killer, right? Like, he's coming out on the 15th. So there's no other way to put this, and I don't mean to be derogatory or anything, but really it's a Kraken event. Like, you would have to spend to unlock, 4 characters at 7 stars. You would have to gear them and relic 5 them all, and you're just not going to do that free to play. Like, I mean, I guess there's probably technically a way if you just sat on a ton of crystals, but I mean, you would have to be sitting on like a ton of crystals. I think like the biggest hoard I've ever seen is 40,000. That still wouldn't be enough for you to do 4 characters and bring them all to R5. It is what it is. It is a Kraken's event at this point. But the good news is that Star Killer is going to stay in the journey guide, so he is going to be available whenever you are ready for this. I really am kind of surprised that they haven't even release like Dash Rendar into the crystal shipments. I really thought that like kind of on the onset of the event, like when the event goes live, that like at least one or two of them would be in crystal shipments to really incentivize those people to be like, well, you know, I only have to whale out really truly on like two or three of them, and I can just soft whale on one of them or two of them or whatever the case is. I really thought that was going to be kind of their goal in this. But since Dash Rendar hasn't even really hit crystal shipments yet, I kind of am not like, I'm not anticipating that to be happening. Although they did say that they are going to be on a release or a mixed release cadence schedule or something like that. I just don't know like what that looks like, and so I'm just really surprised that they didn't put them into crystal shipments. Okay, so as far as economy of the game has gone, guys, I'm still doing. So I do 3 refreshes every day for our conquest. I do no refreshes for ship, and then I do 3 refreshes for the 350s for mods. I do 3 100s for Cantina, and then I'll do like 2 for the regular energy. Normally I would do more, but just because I've only got really one thing to farm, which is Fennec Sean. I'm just trying to kind of allocate like, hey, how are my crystals going? Because I used to get 500 crystals a day, and now I'm getting like 260 plus my 400. So it is a drop off. I'm really excited for GAC to come back because those are going to be the crystals that I really need to again. I have been dropping crystals. I think last week I was at like almost 22k or maybe 23k. So obviously I am dropping quite a bit. But again, if you're doing pretty good in GAC, you're actually going to see a pretty significant increase in crystal, you know, over the 35 days that GAC is occurring. So it's a give and take here. We'll see how it works out. I hope you guys are, you know, subscribe to the channel because we're going to be posting a ton of GAC stuff, our fights, you know, also we're going to be doing stuff on Twitch as well. So that's going to be a good, I'm really excited for GAC, if you guys can't tell. And then as far as shipments go, I've been purchasing like all these, the first 4 gear pieces here, the Omicrons obviously here. This is like sometimes I forget this because it kind of comes in. I'm at 49 now. Usually purchase the shipbuilding materials, and then sometimes if I'm short on shard currency, I'll go ahead and purchase some of these via Cantina stuff. Always purchase these as well, just because 6E mods are a real thing and you need them, all of them. And then sometimes if I see some gears here, like these are really good buys for me because they're great, usually relic salvage. And then sometimes I don't know, like lately I've been short on credits because they give us 4 marquees in a row, right? Like upgrading them all to 6, or upgrading them all, you know, 6 million credits per. Plus doing mods and stuff like that. That all adds up. So I usually only buy the ships on this because they're the best value, and I'm usually not short on stuff. Buy any mod in here that has a +5 speed, really, unless it's like an accuracy arrow, because I'm not huge on those. But and then if it has defense in here, sometimes I'll stay away. I might come back and get that, but I am getting really low on credits, so I probably shouldn't. But yeah, like crit chance triangle, I don't necessarily need one right off the top of my head, but I might need one. Who knows? That one I probably will come back and get to as well, because that's a fleet crystal one, or a fleet credit one. Actually, I'm gonna get it right now. All right, and so yeah, that kind of covers like what I do for mods. I just look for anything that has 4 or 5 speed in it, and then I kind of determine, hey, whether or not I need it or not. Most times I do though. And then I just did big shout out to Hot Utils. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. I had 2 million of the ally points. I'm back up to 1.02, but I spent 1 million of them. And the reason why I keep 1 million, honestly, is because it's probably just the hoarder in me, like the prepper in me, I guess, if you will. But I've also been told that like there was some data mines that like calendars were going to be bought with ally points. So I don't know. We'll see if they are or not. But yeah, that's pretty much going to cover that side of the game for me. Um, like I said, I am in a crystal deficit right now just because of how the crystals are working with GAC, and we kind of knew that that was going to be the case. Once we start getting into matches, though, we should start to really see a big bump again. Um, but yeah, other than that, guys, I'm looking forward to this week. Hopefully, you guys' farming and your guys' accounts are going as well. Let me know if you guys want to see anything else in these series, or if I'm missing something, or what you guys think that I might be doing wrong. This is just my own personal way of how I run the account. And like I said, hopefully you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys in the next one.